What's up, YouTube? No.
What do we got here? Jeremy, you shouldn't leave. These gentlemen want to talk to you. Put your money back. Please! Get down on the ground! Why did you think it was okay to leave your teenage girl home alone to come here and meet another teenage girl, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, Jeremy.
Does any part of you feel sorry for these guys?
No.
This one idea for a one-off story for Dateline NBC in 2004 has turned into all this.
I will. Can you just tell me who you are?
I'm Chris Hansen. This is an investigation.
He's nasty, motherfucker. I don't know what it was about Chris Hansen's, but they definitely felt more like
In this episode, we travel
real.
to the dark corners of crime, perverts, and preds who prey on kids. We team up with Chris Hansen, a man who has spent the last 2 decades as the premier pred catcher on the planet. Together, we team up in a sting operation to catch these. In this episode, there are certain words that for some reason we cannot say. Among them, so instead, we will either refer to these guys as preds, PDF files, or bleep out the word altogether to avoid being censored. Now, this ugly world of PDF files is something that I almost didn't want to cover. I mean, the idea that grown men are out there looking to meet with vulnerable youth, to me, it's just sad and sickening. But it is a reality of this world that we have to face, and thankfully with the help of local police, we have the opportunity to take these offenders off the street and give them justice. Folks, this episode is heart-pounding, stomach-turning, and incredibly intense. It's time to saddle up and go boots on the ground.
Yo, I should come to Canada and we should do one of these.
Today we're diving into the dark world, and we're doing it with one of the best in the business, Mr. Chris Hansen. We're just down the road from a sting operation where
option,
they're
though. I'm like,
luring
hey,
guys
we can
in
either- we
and
can
then
either-
promptly arresting them. To me, I'm
can
really
either
fascinated to get to the bottom
let
of
me
why
throw
this is
hands,
happening.
or
So
you
let's
can
try
let
and
me
learn
call
something
cops.
together. Buckle up,
choice.
folks. We're in for one today. Just as we arrived in Michigan and we're gonna set out to the sting
I'll let you
house,
fight
we got
back.
word
You
from
can fight
Chris's
back.
team that an offender was on his
Just
way
know
to
the
get
more you
busted
fight back,
for us
the more
to
you're
lay
getting
low until
trashed.
they booked him. What happened next is one of the most powerful moments of Chris's career.
And then just put all the uncensored ones on a Patreon.
But that shit would be so bad. I don't know how fucking Gideon does that shit.
This guy's a weirdo. Did he
Cause
just
bro-
drop his keys off at the door? Just dropped them?
Yeah, brother, free.
He's a freak.
Bro, I don't know how Gideon does that shit.
150. Okay. What do you want to do?
He's about to pay this
What are
young girl for
you
sex.
feeling up to? I don't want to.
I'm down for anything.
Are we doing it here? Is there like a bedroom?
There's the bedroom, or we can do it on the couch, or anywhere you want to go. I'll go change, and you can stay here. Okay. You can just stay right here, and I'll be right back. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's a
How you doing? Good. What was your plan here today?
I like how Chris Hansen already has his cup on the table.
No, you cannot. Stay right there.
From the law enforcement angle, what have you seen in this world?
Seems over the last 10 years, it's gotten worse, in my opinion. Just based off the interviews I've done over the years with children, child forensic interviews over the child abuse type stuff, sexual abuse.
How common are these people out in the world, these predators?
To be quite honest, I think it's a very scary thought. I think they're very common. I think parents
Crazy.
should be well aware of the stuff that happens on the internet.
My name is Sam Christian. I'm a retired Chicago Police Deputy Chief on the Chicago Police
Colonel
Department.
Sam.
I spent 14, 15 years in what's called Special Investigations of the Youth Division, chasing pedophiles, basically. When I was doing this work, and we would do lectures and seminars, and I thought at that time you could probably find a pedophile rather on probably every square mile in the city of Chicago.
Well, you know, I kind of fell into working with, so I fell into forensics, and have been helping lock the sons of bitches up for 30 years. I don't know, how many people are predators versus how many billions of people we have. No one's ever clear with that because we're only basing it on those that
I like
were
this Tommy G
convicted.
video.
We know that there's no place we could go in this country where it isn't happening.
I mean, we're in the UP of Michigan, And right now,
Because
we
he's
could
not
be
just trying
talking
to catch a
someone
prey
down in
and get clout
Texas
off of it.
that could
He's like,
potentially be up here within
bring
a couple
in
days
attention
and
to the
try
issue.
to, you know, potentially take your child. So it's not just in your backyard anymore. It's like a nationwide thing.
What's your name?
Joe, I was looking online to play.
To play, and what do you mean by play, Joe?
Obviously, yes.
You talked to somebody online and on the phone, and you were pretty graphic.
This guy's not.
How many times had you met women online before for
2 or 3.
2 or 3? And what do you do for a living now, Joe?
I am a grocery manager.
Here in town?
Marquette.
In Marquette. Over the phone, she tells you that she's 15. You say to her, that's messed up.
That is.
But yet you continued to talk about having sex with her. It almost seems as though that age excited you. You asked if she would do a gangbang. Why
What?
did you ask her if she was willing to do a gangbang?
She sounded eager. She sounded like she wanted to learn. And I
What?
made a mistake. I have a addiction. I will admit that I have a porn addiction. I got addicted to porn when I was probably 11, 12 years old.
Bro, is he just trying to come up with an excuse right now? Is he just trying to come up with an excuse right now? Chris, you gotta throw hands.
Did you bring condoms?
I did not. I might have one.
Right. But you were willing to have unprotected sex with this girl.
I don't know if I would have gone that far.
Chris, throw hands with him.
So it seems to me that if I wasn't here and a real 15-year-old girl was, you would have been having sex with her by now.
I
Nasty
should go away for
motherfucker.
a very, very, very long time. There's no one to blame but myself.
All right, Joe. Well, there's something you need to know.
You're Chris Hansen with.
Take down with Chris Hansen.
That's crazy that he already knows.
Have you seen the shows before?
I have.
And what have you thought of those shows?
But I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. Did you ever think you're going to end up face to face like this?
When I walked in here and saw the pizza box, I honestly knew.
Is that enough for you?
Yep.
That's
just the walls.
crazy, son.
No other weapons or anything on you, sir?
No.
I'm just gonna give you a quick pat down. All right.
Joe, thank you for being straight up with me. I appreciate it.
Can I shake your hand?
Yes.
It's hot and sweaty.
I appreciate it, buddy. Good luck to you. All right?
I'm sorry.
Get
Thank
the
you.
help you need. All right?
Chris Hansen's a real nigga. 'Cause I would have slapped that bitch ass nigga. Chris Hansen is better than me. Wait, it's crazy though because Chris Hansen and them already got it lined up with the cops. Like, you know, most of the time when people do these, they gotta call the cops and kind of stall them till the cops get there. Like, they
It
already
sounds messed up to say, but I
rolled
couldn't
out with
help but
this
feel
nigga. It's like
bad
he's
for
got
some
his
of
own
these guys.
personal
I mean,
cop
I know
squad.
that if they followed through with what they were going to do, that they very well would damage a kid for life. But still, watching them throw their life down the drain in real time just made me feel sad for them. And due to the pathetic nature of what they were setting out to do, my guess is these
I don't
guys
know if I
live
do
very
feel sad for
miserable
them.
lives.
Does any part of you feel sorry for these guys?
No.
These guys are
Real
doing
nigga.
irreparable,
Fuck these
lifelong damage to kids. I felt like just looking at them, I feel repulsed, I feel ick, I feel like, and just feel good. Like hearing that door shut behind, like I had like a word in my head, just justice. Let's head to the Sting house.
Good time to pause real quick.
I had like a word in my head, just justice. Let's head to the Sting house. So what's going through your head when you bust a guy like that?
It's sad to see that we have this in the community, but it's good to see something come out of it to get these people off the streets. The maximum for the punishment is 20 years to life. Easily at least serve a couple years. Hopefully we have a successful rest of our day.
They should pay people to just catch these niggas. Yo, you can pay me.
So in a normal state,
We'll attend the
when
Pred
you
Hunter.
start in the morning, how late does it go?
You know, we've gone till the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, depending on who's coming.
So we might be having a slumber party tonight.
Could happen. It's happened before. So this weekend we have a sting operation with the Marquette County Sheriff's Department. Decoys will go undercover posing as children and see if men will approach them and try to make a date for sex. If they do, they will be invited over here. I will confront them, and then they'll be arrested by the Marquette County Sheriff's Office. We've been doing investigations for 20 years now, and yet here we are, 20 years and probably 600 guys later. The problem is worse than ever before.
You've pioneered a whole new genre of content where now there's people that their entire career is doing somewhat very similar things. One, did that blow your mind? And two, not all of them get the guys arrested.
You know, when I stop to think about it, now that you mention it, it is kind of mind-boggling. This one idea for
That
a
is
one-off
true.
story for
Chris
Dateline
Hansen's the
NBC
OG.
in 2004.
It's a Dateline hidden camera investigation no parent will want to miss. He thinks he's at this house to have sex with a 15-year-old girl.
But he's not.
Chris Hansen with a Dateline hidden camera investigation.
Damn, Chris Hansen was doing this shit when he had no gray hair.
And in terms of the vigilante catchers, you know, some of them have done a service. And I think there's a solid place for citizen journalists. But it concerns me that I think some, not all, but some of these vigilante catchers are out to just be as outlandish as possible.
Yeah, that would be me. I'd be slapping niggas left and right.
I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not here to get you in trouble. I just want to have a good time.
He's coming. Well, what's your mental preparation? Like, what are you doing before they come?
Well, I'm working on a lot of different things. So I've gone through the material for this particular confrontation. I'll start going through it again in a few minutes here when we know he's on the way, for sure. And other than that, you know, you're just kind of keeping aware, and I'm working on other stories at the same time.
They're just trying to see if it's real, see if they can manipulate him, take advantage.
Do you feel bad for these guys at all?
Do I feel bad? No, at all. They knew what they was doing. They need to ask what.
Tell me about the potential perp.
He said that he is.
What he said?
49. He's actually 53. We found out.
I think interesting, first of all, that he's willing to lie about a minor detail like that.
He's coming from like 3 hours away.
Didn't he also take a picture?
He took a picture of his on the side of the road, sent it to the decoy.
Okay, you guys are some of the world experts in tracking down. What kind of commonalities do you notice amongst these guys? Traits, characteristics?
They all lie about inconsequential details. This guy that just said he's 49, he's really 53. We've had guys lie about the type of car they're driving.
How has doing this job changed how you guys look at the world?
Like, I feel like when I have kids, they're not getting on anything. And Chris talks about all the time that when he first started doing this, he thought he was going to do it like once or twice. And now, 20 plus years later, he's still doing it.
And he's busier than ever.
And he's busier than ever.
There are exponentially more platforms upon which adults can approach children. So while there is more activity now than ever before, it's more difficult to detect. I think technology has opened this up. I think people are more exposed to fantasies.
Is it all ever women showing up here?
I've never had a woman.
Women like to have a connection, whereas men are like out hunting for whatever. So the women, it's always somebody who's closer.
The female, you're more likely to see in the teacher-student scenario. The female wants to know the victim. The male likes the anonymity.
Ms. Nutley was a teacher at St. Xavier High School. This is a Catholic school in Springfield Township, a Catholic school of all places.
Has doing this job made you look at men differently?
I mean, I always thought there were perverts out there, but like, there's so many, I guess.
To get an idea of the damage this crime can cause a family, we spoke with a mom whose child suffered from the hands of an exploitive adult, and she spoke to the impact this had on her life.
I didn't notice everything until maybe 3 years into the relationship. I started noticing that he was a little bit like not affection. So I kind of just assumed that he was cheating on me. We took a trip out to Michigan, and that's when I actually found out that my daughter had a boy over. I investigated deeper into her phone and found out that this other kid was actually 23. So I called the cops, and they did lock him up. But that same night, something was bothering me about why was she so comfortable in my bed? So I went and asked my daughter, has Tim ever touched you? And Tim was right behind me and I felt him. I felt his energy behind me, like the nervousness. And she said yes. I turned around, I just start throwing things at him. And that's when I used, have you ever my daughter? He nodded. One time. I'm so confused at this moment. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? You said one time, but you're saying no. What's going on? He was on a run for at least 2 weeks. He took a plead, the 10-year plead. It was underage. Just repeatedly with the underage.
This is such a cat and mouse game. Like, we'll have like someone 30 minutes away, call. And then they chicken out. Or someone calls back and is like, hey, I want to pee on you. And then they chicken out.
Comes in, goes out. We try to maintain a low key, but you gotta eat good. Gotta bring beef jerky.
In a typical day, 8-10 hour day, how many people would you bust?
It really varies by location. You know, there have been some where we've packed in four guys in an afternoon. And then there's some where we've showed up and we've been there for 2 days and nobody shows up.
What are the major red flags of a that people can be aware of or think about?
So if we just take an extreme, on one extreme, we know these people because they're always talking the language. Instead of calling people kids, they're F toys or, even dates, they're objects. On that end, we know who those people are because they're always verbalizing. But most are at the other end. They have a great social persona. They look good, they sound good, but they're very schmoozy. And it's that schmooziness that we forget. That's psychopath traded.
In any way, do you feel bad for these guys?
Sometimes, you get a guy who gets on his knees, who spent 6 months in battle in Iraq, maybe he has PTSD, and he's begging you for forgiveness. You can't help but feel bad. But at the end of the day, if we weren't here and a child was here, what would have happened?
Because there's no doubt in my mind, a large number of people that are incarcerated are going to get back out and restart again.
Hi. I'm sorry I missed your call.
Yeah, I'm like 30 minutes away. I was just making sure you're gonna be still up and shit.
Yeah, I'm still up. I'm waiting.
Alright. So, what do you just want to text me the address when I call you back, or what do you want to do?
Yeah. Just let me know when you're in Ishpeming and I'll text you the address.
Alright.
Okay. Hurry up, I can't wait to see ya.
Alright.
Okay, bye.
Does it surprise you how many guys are out there trying to do this?
Yes and no. Our jurisdiction has a very high amount of CSCs, criminal sexual conducts.
I guess, how does it make you feel getting to do this job?
This? Good. Like, I've seen so many stories that are, like, horrific. Some of these people do to minors is sickening.
Do you think our justice system properly takes care of these guys?
I think they all
just did that?
Need to go to prison for some stint, however long. I'm not sure. I will say, I think reoffenders,
who the fuck just did
my
that
personal
shit?
opinion, shouldn't be able to walk another day freely.
Anything you think people back home should know?
If you're a sexual assault victim.
Facts, you think that shit's funny? You think that shit's fucking funny?
Walk another day freely.
Anything you think people back home should know?
If you're a sexual assault victim,
put your pussy lips on live, I'll give you $1,000.
Tell your story to somebody from trained law enforcement officials that do handle this stuff in a sensitive manner.
You think it's funny,
don't
don't
be afraid to report it and speak out about it.
There are a boatload of clips from this episode that, for reasons I cannot get into, are only available on Patreon. If you'd like to support independent journalism and have access to these clips, the link to subscribe is in the description.
There's a last minute hustle and bustle to get everyone in place.
We'll see him on the camera, so if he does, everyone will just shift.
Just do a final check your phones. How well do these guys usually scope out a place before they go to it?
I think last year, and the one we did the other one, I think we've had 2 or 3 go by. They'll drive by once or twice just to make sure they're looking for, obviously, police cars, anything suspicious, obviously lighting, any suspicious movement at all that would indicate, hey, there's something just to justify their concerns. Most of them, once they're in, they're fully committed.
So, like, how do you approach this from a psychological standpoint so that you keep it going without tipping them off, but you still get information, like when to text them, when not to text them?
I
was a guy like you with a beard.
They're gonna know when I take the stand.
Is this off a hookup website?
Yeah, this is off of a website that just strictly deals with prostitution.
So he's probably been there, done that before.
Usually.
So that means the decoy has a fake profile.
Yeah.
With a few pictures.
Yep, I created a fake profile. The website's out of Europe.
How racy can you get with the pictures?
The pictures are of our actual decoy. She can get as racy as she's comfortable. Obviously, we don't get too racy with ours.
So he knows that she's 15.
What does that mean?
His big holdup was he had to find some place to get rid of his kid for the night.
Do you know how old his kid is?
I don't think we discussed it.
He could be mad swag.
Yeah.
And you guys, you gave him the address.
This guy has a kid.
Just within the
and he's
last
about to
30
go meet a
seconds,
kid.
minute
That's
ago.
insane.
Let's get ready.
Subject spotted. Okay, baby, here we go.
This is our guy. Hey, Vermi asked where to park. There he is. Yep.
I think he's gonna pull up around from the left.
Cannabis. It's not just legal in 38 states.
These motherfucking
it's a
ads.
$36 billion global industry.
It's like, now I have no choice but to support cannabis.
Close the door too, it's kinda cold.
You want me to go grab them white claws or whatever?
That's okay, you can just hang out. You can have a seat.
Did he bring Zaza?
You got some weed?
Yeah.
This nigga brought Zaza.
How was the drive?
Fucking shitty, man. I got behind some guy that was going like 20 miles an hour and shit.
I was wondering what was taking you so long.
Yeah.
You got the condoms too?
Yeah. You want that? You want that?
Sure. Well, I'm gonna run upstairs and grab my bong really fast, and I'll be right back, okay?
Alright.
Okay.
What do we got here?
Oh, man.
How you doing?
Good.
What'd y'all bring?
There's some weed.
Some weed?
Hey.
What's your name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy? And Jeremy, where you from?
From Michigan.
What part of Michigan?
Iron Mountain.
Iron Mountain. What brought you here tonight?
She said she wanted to smoke.
She wanted to smoke. And who is she?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I just met her online.
You just met her online. And what was your plan here for tonight, Jeremy?
Smoke.
Smoke?
Yeah.
Sex?
I mean, she said she...
She said she would have sex with you.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. And how old is she?
She said, her thing says 19.
Keep your hands out of your pockets, please. She said what?
She said 19.
She said 15.
Oh, I don't know. Her thing says 19 on her.
Well, everybody has to say 19 to get on the platform, but she told you she was 15.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
You didn't pay attention. So you drive how many hours?
Oh, just like an hour.
About an hour. And did you stop at all along the way?
Yeah, I stopped at a gas station.
And what did you get at the gas station?
Gas.
Gas.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I grabbed some beer.
Some beer. And where's that?
Out of my truck.
Did you bring condoms?
Yeah.
You did. And where are those?
In my pocket.
In your pocket. And how much weed did you bring here?
Just
And how much did that cost?
well, I don't know. This was I already had this.
You already had the weed.
Yeah.
So
what's going on here? What is
yeah,
this?
I'm going to get to that in a minute. But Jeremy, you drove an hour to meet a 15-year-old girl.
Jeremy's a weird
Well,
motherfucker.
she said she was 19. I think.
You say that on the website or on the social media, but it said 19 on the platform, but she told you 15.
I don't know, man. I'm not. Are you a cop or what?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and deal with
Well,
this shit. So I got.
You're not going to sit here and deal with it. You drive an hour.
Yeah, she lied
bring
to me
weed.
and said she was 19.
No. I've
Yeah,
seen the transcripts, Jeremy. So you can
Okay,
try
she-
to jerk me around here, but it's
Her
not going to
thing
go
says
well.
She's 19 on her thing. I'm assuming you have to have an ID to make a fucking sex website.
What
right?
did she tell you? What age did she tell you, Jeremy?
She said she was 19 on her thing.
What did she tell you in the conversation? She said 15, right?
Okay.
Okay. So what made you think it was okay to drive an hour, bring weed and alcohol to a 15-year-old girl after a sexually charged conversation?
I didn't know she was.
Okay, we can go round and round, but she told you. What made you think that this was okay?
I didn't think it was okay.
You didn't think it was okay. So why did you do it?
I just need. I need a lawyer or something.
Are you a married guy?
No.
You're not married. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
How many kids?
2.
2. And where are your children tonight?
My kids, one's at a friend's house and the other one's at home.
One's at home. And how old are your children?
I got one's 14 and one's 16.
One's 14 and one's 16. So the 16-year-old's at home.
Yeah.
And the 14-year-old is where?
At a friend's house.
At a friend's house. Did you drop the 14-year-old off at a friend's house so you could come here?
No, she was already there.
She was already there. So you left your 16-year-old child home alone.
She's 16.
But you left her home alone so you could come here to meet a 15 for sex. You want to just hold tight here, man, Jeremy.
No, I don't.
There's something you need to know before you go. Just sit.
I don't need to know anything.
Jeremy, I'm Chris Hansen.
Jeremy, you're not going to
And I
grab
do
this
stories
Zaza?
on men. Jeremy, you shouldn't leave. These gentlemen want to talk to you.
Jeremy, you going to grab this Zaza, bro?
Please, get down on the ground.
Hey, he's on the couch.
Watch sit. All right, Relax, buddy. Relax, buddy.
Slow down.
Relax.
Slow down.
Relax.
Slow down. Speak.
All right.
Okay, what the fuck?
Jeremy, I asked you not to leave. And look what happened. Is there anything else you want people to know about the situation you're in tonight, Jeremy?
No.
Why did you think it was okay to leave your
I'm not
teenage girl home alone to come here and meet another teenage girl, Jeremy?
All right, we're gonna sit you up, okay? We're gonna roll over to your back. Bring your knees up to your chest.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Go ahead and take a seat.
Jeremy, how old are you?
41.
41. And what do you do for a living, Jeremy?
Work at a warehouse.
You work at a warehouse. And what do you do at the warehouse?
Load trucks.
Load trucks. Well, Jeremy, as I started to say before you tried to leave, I'm Chris Hansen.
I'm not giving you guys permission to videotape.
Well, we don't need it.
Okay, well, I don't have nothing to say.
We do stories on men who try to meet kids for sex. And you've become one of those stories.
Dirty motherfucker.
Is there anything else you want people to know?
No.
Okay, well, these people here will take it from here then.
Chris, you just completed 2 days, a lot of bus. What's going through your mind right now?
Tommy, the fact that a guy would leave his own children behind, a 14 and 16, to drive an hour to meet a 15, allegedly for sex, bring weed, alcohol, it never ceases to stun me.
The anticipation, right when he started walking up to the house, my heart was thumping.
Yeah, mine too. Still does.
It's an amazing thing. I mean, I've seen it so many times through the television, seeing how it goes, but then to be here in the moment, it's like a rodeo when you're out there.
You don't know what's going to happen. And typically, we have the element of surprise. I mean, sometimes these guys are suspicious. Sometimes they'll say, "You're Chris Hansen," before I can say, "I'm Chris Hansen." He obviously felt pretty comfortable when he saw the undercover deputy posing as the 15-year-old girl. He thought that this was going to go to plan. And when she excused herself, it was time for me to come in and ask my questions.
I'm sure every guy comes in and tries to deny to some level.
Sure.
Is it airtight? Like, is there any way this guy can't say, "I didn't know she was 15"?
The way the sheriff's detectives and deputies work, they have a clear record of informing the alleged that this person they're coming to visit is 15.
Is playing dumb the most common defense mechanism?
It's playing dumb. I didn't see the age. They try to convince the detectives that because you have to be 19 to get on that platform, that they assume that they were 19, even though people get on these platforms at a younger age.
Do you think he knew he was an animal in a trap by the time you sat down with him?
I think he knew he was in trouble. I don't think he knew who I was. And so he's wondering, am I the mad dad? Am I the police? Or am I someone else?
To see what you've been doing the last many years, busting guys like this, getting them off the street, America's rooting for you, man.
I appreciate it, Tommy. I appreciate
So,
it very much.
well, thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. All right, folks. Well, that's what it's like inside of Operation Busting and putting them to justice. We'll see you guys next week.
What you have just seen is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to